Beautiful. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
We're gonna do a tavern talk tonight because we had some unexpected technical difficulties for one of our players, and so we wanted to just kind of shoot the breeze instead and get to just talk about Dungeons and Dragons and how these games have been going and everything. So, yeah, good stuff. We'll start, I guess, with me. Hi, I'm Tam. I'm your guys' DM. Go by she, her.
Hi, I'm Larry.
I'm Finch. Go by she, they. I'm a nerd. What's up?
Hi, I'm Larry over here on this side. I go by she, her, and I've been playing Pebble in the Auditors.
Hi, I'm Tony. I play Arden Petrova, the Shadow Monk. We both go by him.
That's in the Saturday game and in the Monday game, and we'll circle back to Finch so you can introduce character.
You know, I probably should have thought of that. So I kind of got put on the spot there. I was like, someone needs to say
No,
something.
you're good.
Anyway, I'm Brad. I play Ball on the Saturday game. Vengeance Paladin. We both go by he.
Nice.
And also, Larry, what's your real character's name?
Pebble?
No.
Oh, right. I play. I don't remember what I was supposed to follow after with, but her first name is so.
And that's in the all Kobold game that we'll be playing at some point in time.
Yep.
Which now we have to manifest into existence.
Onomatopoeias only.
We mentioned that in my friends. We were like talking about like the Oops All Clerics game called Clerical Error.
Amazing.
That's pretty good. Who was it? Joe Cat in his crap guide to D&D talked about an all cleric group called the A Team. and I was just like, that's pretty great.
I'm telling you, an
That is
all
amazing.
cleric team is probably the scariest of like one whole group of one class.
It is until someone has a anti-magical field.
But they're pretty tanky too.
That's what it's like. They got a mix of like beefiness and good potent magic.
Mhm.
But then again, 5 barbarians running at you, pretty scary too.
Yeah. It's a one shot with a Tarask.
I looked up that guy once. What is it? T-U-T-E-R-A-S-Q-E. Sure. Close. Tarask.
Yep, close.
Lion head, body protected by turtle-like carapace.
Just look at the HP on that though, Larry.
And also, you know what? Just go ahead for the viewers. Just read the stat block of a Tarrasque.
Okay. D&D. 5E.
Please don't.
No, I got this. The Tarask
You have
can
to-
use...
you-
Oh. Yes?
You have to say exactly like how Pebble did her recap.
Oh, God.
I went back and listened to that. By the way, it felt so much faster on my end. So much. It was so slow compared to the feeling and anxiety of like my heart palpitations that was happening. I was like, holy cow. The perception of time is a lie.
It felt a good speed while it was happening. Like,
Actually,
it didn't
listening
sound...
to it back though, I was like, I really thought oof. Oh, 676. Classy. Classic.
of the hit points.
Yeah.
So that's why you would need
Amazing.
an all barbarian group.
25 natural armor. And if it gets unnatural, watch out.
Ooh.
Metal! Anyway.
It's in full plate.
Mithril. I learned that one. Huh?
Okay.
Wow,
Larry-
just bragging over here.
Yeah.
Larry did watch Lord of the Rings for the first time ever the other day, so
All
Oh,
three,
that's
not just
awesome.
the first. It's crazy. Not the extended editions though. No thanks. Not yet. Let me meet him first.
I remember this is a very bad idea. When I first saw Lord of the Rings, my dad cleared out a whole day, and for the entire day we just sat down, watched all 3 movies back to back. Not a good idea, believe it or not.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a
some
lot.
people would think that's the best idea you've ever had, so.
I
I
do that.
disagree. I mean,
I
I'm not
do
gonna say it was bad. I enjoyed the movies, but at the same time, after hour 4, I was just like, oh my god.
And that's
Oh my
only
God,
in
how much longer we go?
and that's only in the second movie.
That's only like part way into the second movie.
I won't tell you guys how many times I have watched all 3 extended editions back to back, just on a casual Sunday.
Do it.
Fair enough.
Tell
I'm in the
us,
same boat.
nerd.
Yeah.
Ink, I will not call you a nerd yet, but
No,
thin
Yeah,
ice.
I always call someone a nerd because I am a nerd.
I know.
Takes one to know one.
I like. Exactly. I think not another NADPod, not another D&D podcast fought a Tarask. I think I'm actually still in the middle of the Tarask fight, but that was about 2 years ago, and it was
No.
just so much combat for an hour, and I was like, this is fun, but I think I want to not.
That reminds me of how, like, theoretically, the Tarask has no, like, ranged option in its moveset. So people, like, theoretically, if you're a flying creature and you, like, if you have, like, infinite rounds, it's just, like, I feel like at that point you could just say improvised, throw a fucking tree at you attack. Because the Tarask could probably do that.
Yeah.
It can chomp. It can attack and move. Swallow,
That's
frightful
the-
presence, tail, horns, claw. Bite, multi-attack. Not all at the same time, though, unless it's a multi-attack.
Larry's just, like, listing all the things the Tarask did to their character right now.
That's the hard part when you get like into like bad guys that high level is it's just like how do you make that combat not just a slog? Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's tough. I find the answer is just giving them, like, 15 legendary resistances, and people are just like, fuck! We gotta do shit. That's not just spells.
yeah, but doesn't that make it worse though? Like
It depends.
Yeah, high level campaigns are just not my jam.
I've yet to get to that hurdle. The highest level in a campaign I've DM'd so far is 7.
I think I was up to 16 or 17. And they went all the way to 20, but I was like, I'm good.
Yeah. When I believe when I originally came up with the idea for this campaign I'm doing right now, I said absolute highest I'm going is 12. I'm not going to DM above 12 level for a bit. I'm a new DM. I'm not that experienced.
Yeah.
I think 10. I mean, I know that we're doing the Auditors game at 10, but I think 9 to 10 is the highest level I ever took a campaign, and even then I was starting to get like, ooh,
Yeah.
how do I make this entertaining for people?
I tend to find people don't. As a DM, you think you gotta make the fight entertaining. People don't tend to think about fights as being entertaining. They tend to think about what cool shit can my character do as a player.
Well, that's
Yeah.
entertaining.
Giving them opportunities to do that, like, it could just be like a HP sponge. If they get to do cool shit, the players are probably happy.
Yeah, but when I can't hit anything, it's just not fun for anybody.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And it's not fun for you, but in regards to making it fun for the players, it's probably less complicated than you're making it out to be. You just need to let them have their moment to do cool shit. every once in a while.
See, but there's also that, but I also would say that if I walk in and the boss that I'm fighting just has like super interesting stuff that you have to work around, rather than just being like throwing rather than just hitting me a bunch. Like, I feel even cooler if the bosses made me work for it, you know?
I get that. I am doing something with that. I've got this idea of there's this whole NPC in my game that revolves around taking other people's memories and like making it their own and feeding off them. And so I thought, what can I play around in that in some way? And so I came up with the idea with using 2 of their legendary attacks, like 2 charges of the legendary attack. They can pretty much do an advanced counter spell, which is basically, hey, that spell you just did, what if no, also you can't use that spell for the rest of the fight. And the higher level of spell it is, the more damage you take, which kind of makes them think, what lower level spells do I have that could be useful? And what higher level spells do you want to do and take the risk of the damage, and still, is it worth it? It's something I'm playing around with.
I'm curious, because, let's see. Because Tony and Ink, you guys have both DM'd quite a bit. What is your favorite, or what, like, is a good way to balance combat for you guys?
Kind of depends on the fight, really. Like, what was it, last Tuesday? I just railroaded my entire campaign. They come up against the boss, and I turned it into an illusion instead of the boss actually killing them. They didn't know that at the time, of course. So they roll in at level 5, I think it was. And within like 30 minutes, the entire party was dead.
But explain the module you're running.
I'm running Curse of Strahd for them.
Makes sense.
And once he says that, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
They came into the dinner party scene, and damn it, this fucking camera's going bad shit today. They come into the dinner party scene thinking they were Billy Badass, and quickly found out they were not.
I mean, level 5 tends to do that anyway.
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
But Curse of Strahd was originally designed to be played for 3 or 4 players. I'm rolling it with 6, occasionally 7 when we have a friend come in. So everything that I've done for this campaign has been doubled, if not tripled. Stat blocks are all jacked up way high. Party is somewhat balanced, but it leans really heavy to melee. So they've got a wizard, a druid who has no clue how to play a druid, or D&D at all. This is their first freaking campaign. A fighter that likes to use magic initiate and cast a fucking firebolt. So,
Oddly specific.
Yeah. Another fighter that just wants to shoot a bow. So, to balance this all out, it's been honestly a freaking nightmare to try and catch up with the ranged people while still dealing with all the melee people. I actually used an imp the other day just to cancel out Witch Bolt, just because the damn wizard had it gnawing on my ass the entire time.
I don't know.
So just little odds and ends is stuff that I use. A lot of invisible creatures, that kind of shit that just pop up randomly.
I think the most balanced fight I've ever done was presented them with a squishy wizard, and then making it so that a squishy wizard is running a golem. And now most people would think, because I tried to make it pretty obvious in the description that the golem was kind of powering up the wizard. Most people would think, maybe take out the golem, the wizard don't have anything to defend himself. If you're my party, however, you try everything in your goddamn minds to try and target the wizard and only the wizard. while the golem is protecting it and powering it up. I somehow then completely avoiding just the option of making the fight easier. Somehow ended up being the most balanced fight in the entire campaign I've done so far, because like they're basically all on like single digit HP at the end.
And for me, it's kind of one of those things where a couple different things. One, I don't want every fight to be super balanced. I like giving my party every now and then, because I notice when I played in a lot of games, as you get stronger, the enemies just seemingly get stronger with you, and they just keep progressively getting stronger, so you never really feel incredibly strong. So a lot of times I like, in between like big fights, I like to throw little fights in there with like lower level stuff, just for something for them to like really feel the power that they've gotten and let them feel strong. And then when it comes to like bosses and stuff like that, I like to give the boss, even if it's not like inherently a legendary, but if it's like one guy in a room by himself, I like to give like a layer action or some form of legendary resistance, a legendary action, just to give me options to at least kind of make the fights a little bit more challenging, because I do have a few players that like to power game, and I don't have a problem with people that bring in really strong characters, but it just makes it where I have to keep that in mind. And one thing too that I've noticed that I've kind of gotten used to is that I don't I don't hard track my HP anymore. Like I have a general idea of how much HP a monster has, but I kind of just let the players, when they do something cool, get the killing blow on it, especially if it's like a bad guy that has something to do with a certain character. Like, it feels really bad when the other person, like some random person who has nothing to do with this character, gets the killing blow on the person. I like to really try to give that, like, once they've reached that HP area, I like to try to give it to the player that would mean the most to them to get it, instead of it just being Joe Schmo gets it.
Yeah.
The music swelling
It's
at
funny.
that point really made it seem like he was doing this inspirational talk about, I really just, this is how I do these fights. It's like, whoa, I'm feeling
And
inspired.
Wipe away a tear from my eye for a second.
Yeah. And I will say too, just the same way I try to do with my characters, I do try to like, give the players the how do you want to do it, and also give some like a little bit of action to it, instead of like the whole I just go in, I slash, I miss, okay, I move on, that kind of thing. Like, oh, they deflect it with their shield, something that's just not like, oh, you just swing and you miss,
Right.
stuff like that.
Oh.
Because then it feels like you're actually doing something. Like, even when you're not hitting anything, it's like, oh, well, you got the sun in your eye. Or like, I mean, like on the beach when you guys, for the Saturday game, when you guys were all fighting those turtles, it's just like, if they're casting Thunderwave and like you guys are getting sand in your faces, like that's a really easy way to go, hey, you missed because you can't see something, or like you're coughing or whatever. Like, it's a little thing, but it helps.
Yep.
Definitely.
I don't know. It's also just really harsh. Like, it's funny sometimes how well the dice will tell the story, because
That was amazing.
I've done what you've done, Tony, and there's sometimes that it's like, okay, this person deserves that hit, but it's also really funny how sometimes like the dice just naturally tell that story anyway, and it's like, hey, I didn't tweak this, and they still got the hit that they needed to.
The dice can be really like flesh out your character sometimes. You're like, wow, my character's really bad at this thing. Okay,
Yeah.
or my character's really good at this thing. Or The worst one is when you put all your like points into this thing because you're like, oh, I want to be like this really good at this thing, and then you're just
Roll
you
ones.
roll bad
Quick.
every time. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I guess that +8 means nothing if I can't roll above a 2.
Yep.
I tend to find as a player, I actively try and go out of my way of being like, I don't always remember this, but I try to remember this, which is, if we're facing a villain that I know has something to do with someone else in the party, I will try and non-lethal, just to make sure the person can actually get the killing blow.
I don't. I want it for myself. That's a joke, but I thought it was silly.
I don't know if I've ever used non-lethal as an enemy,
As an enemy?
but then again, like to do non-lethal damage to.
That's a fun.
No, I was speaking as a player, like if I'm in a party and I know someone has.
Oh,
a,
got it.
a
Yeah,
villain,
okay.
a
Cool,
villain.
cool. No, I read that wrong.
No, you're fine.
I will say I do like that idea. I might have to use that for like an enemy that's using non-lethal, like on the people.
That would be a very fun thing of like showing the party that not every like person you come across is bloodthirsty killer. Like some of them might actually have compassion in some way, you know.
He just loved
either-
hitting you.
Either that or like how terrifying would it be to like come across someone who just has every capacity to just hit you time after like imagine like the DM being like, hey, does a 25 hit, does a 27 hit, like and all those numbers
Yeah.
and just constantly being giving non-lethal damage. And it's
Well,
like
imagine like
yeah.
going against an enemy so strong, it's like they can immediately just kill you outright. But then you see them
and they
non-lethal.
choose not to.
Yeah, that that can be pretty impactful. I find that's really underused mechanic is non-lethal damage, and I find it really strange how some damage types just don't work with it. Like, I feel like you should be able to shoot someone with an arrow non-lethally. You can hit him in the arm, something.
Leg, something. I mean, there's
Yeah.
definitely a way of getting
Leg.
around it. I have a homebrew rule that I always do that if a barbarian is doing reckless, I don't let you do non-lethal.
That makes sense to me.
That's
Speaking
just a,
of barbarians, I've been falling into a little rot recently with a character, and maybe you guys have some advice for this. I feel like it might just be because of the type of campaign I'm in. But outside of combat, barbarians feel kind of absolutely useless in certain scenarios.
in certain
Yes?
scenarios. I mean, I will say I usually try to find a way to put a couple points into something that give me something else. Like, I mean,
See, I want to do that, but sometimes the dice just do not agree. Like,
Oh,
to
I
be a
mean-
barbarian,
I mean,
you kind of have
that's-
to have 3 decent stats already, which means you have 3 other stats which, you know, have a chance of being bad.
Isn't that every character though?
So I find it's worse with barbarians because other characters you need like, maybe 2 stats. Like fighter, you might need decent strength and dex, maybe a little bit of con. For say ranger, you need decent dex or strength and decent wisdom. For cleric, you need decent wisdom. Barbarian is the one where you absolutely need con, dex, and strength to be any decent in battle.
yeah, but I'm playing right now a rogue barbarian, and it feels amazing. Like I feel like my character is incredibly strong in like
Multiclassing
in combat
helps.
and out of combat. It definitely like helped my character be a little bit more well-rounded. But that character's again in and out of combat is always like useful.
I find for barbarian multiclassing does help a lot. It's just in this particular character, I don't think any of the classes I have available to her due to her stats because multiclassing has that requirement. Really fit her character, and it's just led to a bit of a rut where I'm just like,
What level
I
are
know
you?
I could do more, but the amount of like mental gymnastics I have to do to find something she can do to help in these certain scenarios is not worth the effort.
Well,
One of my favorite ways that I've seen, so there's two we had a so there was a game that I played with Larry that we had a paladin sorcerer combo. Or was she a sorcerer?
Who?
Yeah.
Seraphima?
Yeah.
Seraphima was a sorcerer.
Okay, that's what I thought.
No, warlock? No.
Some magic user.
Either sorcerer or warlock.
Yeah. Oh, it was sorcerer now that I'm thinking about it. Anywho, the sorcerer was absolutely terrifying. Like, she was like half demon, half regular person and everything. And then Larry was playing the paladin, and like very often, because one of them was like scary looking and one of them was strong, they like tag teamed this like intimidation combo. So because the sorcerer had higher charisma, well, no, because the paladin had higher charisma, oftentimes Larry would do the talking, and our other player would be there as like this intimidating presence. And I've seen people do that with the barbarians a lot. It's just like, hey,
Yeah.
you may not be able to be able to talk, but like you can help out in a ton of situations of like.
Mhm.
Sorry, you go, Tammy. Finish.
Oh no, you're good.
The first campaign we played, Tam's husband played a barbarian, and we had a bard who just loved the fact that he had a silent killer who he would be like, you can't mess with us or else I'm gonna send this bear man after you.
That's
And
amazing.
I think it's very strong for a character who's supposed to be so built and beefy to struggle through those moments where it's like those are opportunities, one, for fun roleplay, two, I mean, there was one moment in another campaign Tam and I did where I had a very low charisma paladin, and this group wanted to, we split into two, so one of us would be a distraction and another one of us would be they would like sneak into the building that we needed to. Let me get Tony back in here. There we go.
I have never had this happen. This is
it's it's keeping me on track. It's giving me a task. But so I had two people with me who were very, very high charisma, expecting that these people would follow me into trying to distract these guards. I was just going to be the beef. But I walked up and realized they weren't with me. And so I had to talk my way into proving to these guards that I was the strongest person they would ever meet, you know? And I ended up getting all the guards in an arm wrestling like arena. And that's how we distracted, because the two high charisma left me. And so it's interesting of how those like can come about. I think it's hard when you want, because there's absolutely those moments where I was like, oh, I would really like this person to just give me what I want. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the beautiful things about D&D is where you're not gonna get it all, and you can't sometimes, and from there you have to work around it and let the dice work.
Just I'm very relatively new to D&D. This is the first time I've really had a frustration with a character being like, I want them to be a certain way. I don't want them to be the like traditional barbarian, but stat-wise, that's what they're built to do. It makes it tough to do anything outside of that.
Which then you have to flavor with RP, right? Like,
Yeah,
so
which I can do, but at the end of the day, it doesn't affect the dice rolls, which do matter in storytelling.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
well,
Sorry.
going
go on,
back
I cut
to
you off.
oh no, you're good. Going back to like Bearman Barbarian, like I have the hardest time playing D&D with my husband because he is so stupidly good at puzzles. It's not that like he's a fantastic player, but I can't do clever enough stuff to get it to make it exciting for him. And so like for him to play a barbarian, that the stat blocks actively was like, hey, you can't solve this puzzle
Yeah.
or else technically you're metagaming. Like, he would do it, like, he would solve the puzzle by being like, I'm gonna go around and start hitting stuff on the walls, because that's like what the barbarian would do, like leaning into the strength or whatever, even though it's like him as a player would know, oh, well, if we squish this, if we move this barrel, or if we squish this, or if we do that, or if like we do this puzzle, like, and everyone would be like, oh, haha, like Ander figured it out. And it's just like, yeah, Ander did figure it out, but like he did it in a way that like leaned into what the barbarianism was, and that sort of thing, because you, like, if you could do it all, you wouldn't need a party.
Yeah, makes sense. And I think it's, I don't want this character to do it all. I just want this character to be able to do anything other than just traditional barbarian things one time. And it's never gone well for that character. It's just been a frustration of mine, but what can you do? D&D is just like that sometimes. The dice tell a story, and sometimes the dice, no matter how well you roll, just aren't in your favor.
And one of these times, maybe it does work, and then it's like, boom, baby.
Who knows? Who knows?
Well, and like that's the other hard thing, and I'm sure that you guys, like the other DMs, have seen this too. Like, whenever, like, you can't kind of reinvent the wheel either. It's like, if you want to play not a typical class, then like you have to sacrifice what your class is good at. And so like I've played games before where people are like, oh, well, I don't want to be just the typical XYZ, and then they don't have fun because their character isn't good at either. And that sort of thing. So like you kind of like, and that's I guess what I meant by like you have to do things through RP, is because if your character isn't great at something, like give them a reason to not be good at it.
I personally have difficulty with that in regards to just not every scenario, but some scenarios I've had this barbarian in. I don't know, I might just be stupid. I might just not have the creativity to come up with the solutions through RP for this character. It's entirely possible. I just don't have the brain capacity for this.
Can I hear an example of? Not that I'm just curious about what.
Example name. I have like things in my mind, but like putting it into words to make it an example doesn't quite make sense, like as a sentence.
Okay.
Sorry, my brain's not in it. It's
No,
not
you're
in it.
fine. I was thinking the only response I had was try, but I won't push.
You tried trying harder.
Well, because like I'm like, let's see, I'm trying to think of even with our own game, like let's take Artem for example on like the Saturday game, like,
oh yeah, and how awesome he is.
Yeah, just the
Wow,
best.
wow, wow. My name's Tony. I love my guy.
Everything. But yeah, like for example, Artem, like what is your lowest stat, Tony?
Intelligence and strength.
Okay, so like strength makes probably the most sense kind of for this example. Like if Artem was strong, like he would probably fight more cleanly than he does, but he's not. Like that's not what he was trained or built to do, and so he does have a very like rough and tumble way of like going and fighting something. And tell me if I'm totally putting words in your mouth, Tony, but like if he was more trained versus this kind of noble person that fell into where he's at right now, like he probably would have a better strength stat. But like none of that has anything to do with the dice, but because he RPs it as like just throwing haymakers all over the place and being a little messy in combat, like you get the feel, and so then the dice make sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In mind, yeah.
Also, it hasn't came up yet, but there's a reason why he is the way he is too.
Yeah.
What?
Wait.
Really?
Like,
That's
character
crazy. I thought he was just
customization-
doing it for kicks.
No, there's a reason why he keeps only using hands.
It's because he has no feet.
No,
He's never
I
done
will-
that in his life.
no, he's actually a druid and scared of metal.
Ugh. That was
No,
so cool, though.
I will say also you got to think though, Artem is very much a one-trick pony, and it's trying to get the most out of that one trick as you can possibly get.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever your character can do, you just kind of lean into it and just try to like just make it your like part of your thing, because it's like, because if you keep fighting against what your character does and is, then it's gonna be you're gonna have a way harder time with the character and getting into the character, because you're like, oh, the character's not fitting this thing, because like you don't want to be a barbarian. If anything, you probably want to be a fighter. If you're not wanting to go into a rage and go all crazy, you're probably wanting to be more of a fighter, which multi-classes better into like spell casting and things like that.
The fact I don't want to go into a rage and go all that, it's just the way I made this character is. I'm trying to think of the way I can explain this. I want them to be resourceful and intelligent, but not, stat-wise. They have decent intelligence, but not enough to make a difference compared to how high level the party is and how high like their stats are in certain departments. It's very. I'm struggling to come up with a way to comprehend how to like explain this. My brain's not been working.
No,
for the
you're
past,
good.
like, week.
So-
I'm so sorry.
This actually makes me think of Larry's first character that I ever played with her. Larry wanted to play a arcane trickster rogue because she wanted to be a rogue. She liked the idea of sneak attack, and it wasn't until we got into combat the first time that I was like, "Hey, sneak attack doesn't work on your damage, like on your magic." And
Yeah.
instantly she's like,
What
"But
the
I wanna
heck?
cast magic," and like we
Why
we
magic
took
casting rogue if no rogue
if no
benefit?
good magic casting.
Yeah.
Purely for mage hand, that's it.
Yep.
That brings up something that I've done, but I'll let you finish.
But like we talked about it and we like took a couple sessions, and then we realized like, hey, for like the game that she wants to play, this isn't the character for her. Like, and Era was still a great character and like was and I would love to revisit her as a character at some point in some game at
Me
at
too.
whatever and everything. But for that game, that play style, we ended up sending her off and Larry made a new character, and like that's also a totally viable thing. It's like if you're not fitting or if you're not feeling like you're having a good time with fitting this character into the game that you're playing, like get someone else who maybe is a fighter with a higher intelligence stat that you can be a little bit more versatile with and play around with, instead of trying to like shoehorn them into fitting one way or another.
Sense.
Talk
On
to
the
your
topic
DM.
of arcane tricks and stuff like that. I don't homebrew feats often, but my players specifically requested this. I came up with the idea of a homebrew feat, which is the prerequisite is you need at least one level in Rogue to have access to sneak attack, and you need to have access to spellcasting. And it basically, the way it would function is, as long as a cantrip has a roll to attack and a damage die, you can add your sneak attack modifier, your sneak attack onto that attack.
That would be
I
the
have
way
specific wording
to fix it.
somewhere, yeah. I have the specific wording somewhere. I have to dig through my whole campaign thing, but the gist is you can add sneak attack onto cantrips, but you need specifically, the ability to cast spells and sneak attack, and it costs a fee.
I did it with in my games where that you can do it if it has a spell attack, like any kind of like spell attack with it, just because like you're actually having to roll the dice to hit the person. And I think if you're a rogue wizard, like the whole thing you want them to do is sneak attack and spellcast. It's like it's so weird that they give you that, but they don't actually give it to you, and it's to me that's the weirdest thing. So
Yeah.
I just give it to them. I'm like, hey, whatever, man, have fun. Like this is the character you're wanting to play. I don't think it's that broken. Let's be honest. You're getting spells at such a low rate that like it's not like you're gonna do anything super insane with it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Hey, Larry, we're probably gonna do that with Era when you get her back.
Woo!
I mean,
Man, she has been trading with Cavender, so like,
right.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta look at it and like, talk talk to your DM about it and being like, hey, like this isn't
everyone's disappearing.
fitting the visual that I had, and maybe not like this is crazy. I don't know what's going on with this.
I feel like we're playing like whack-a-mole on accident.
Dude, this is insane.
Yeah.
But like always talk to your DM, and I tell my players this anytime. Tell me that if there's something that's not jiving with what you're trying to make, and we can figure it out. And also, like, don't be afraid to be like, hey, I thought this was going to play this certain way. I don't want to change my character, but is there a way that I can maybe move my class from barbarian to fighter, or something of that kind of nature?
Add
where
some
you're like,
feats.
yeah, I mean, there's always some way of getting around it, and like you don't always have to just kill off a character and bring in a new character too, because like I have a tendency of doing that. So
you
I
do?
get that. I mean, creating characters is the like bread and butter of what I do. I love it. I love creating new characters. Any excuse to do so, I'm like, I have to physically hold myself back for being like, what if I made a new character? What if I made a new one?
Oh, mine's always like I go in this thing where I'm like, we've been playing these characters for a while, but I'm like, I'm kind of getting bored of it, or like it gets to a point where I'm like, oh, it'd be really good is like if we had this in the party, and then I bring in the party and I'm like, it does feel better. I was right.
Yeah. See, I hate to say this, but right now my mind's going warlock, and I always make warlocks.
Warlocks
Every
are very fun. Mine's always
very
like a
versatile.
cleric. I'm like, somebody's like a cleric. I'm like, you know what? We could use a second cleric.
A
thing
paladin.
is, warlocks are just so versatile. I feel like they could fit any role I want a character to be. It's so I could go on for hours about how much I love warlocks.
Going along with the like playing into the weak stats, I never have played a high charisma character. It's been terrifying for this to actually have charisma because I like to talk as a person, and I think it's fun to bring those characters to life. There was one time after I traded Era out, my tiefling, she was just a young little thing, had never been adventuring before, always studied, just was studying healing, but Lord Cavender and Arkmont was like, go outside a little bit. And so she was thrown.
Yeah, I was about to say it. Could you imagine you're like training with somebody and somebody's like, go touch grass?
Exactly. Quite.
That's pretty much
He
what
was
he
like,
did.
you literally know everything that I like. You're just working now and you're young. Let's get you some experience. And her party went into this town, and we were looking for so long for, I don't quite remember. I think I was trying to call like a town meeting to be like, you guys need to leave. It's scary out there. Like, let's leave. No one else in my party. We had a bard. We did have a bard. no one else in the party said anything for about 20 minutes while I was just like, well, I guess they're just letting her go. And she ended up getting them completely kicked out of the town because they were like, leave us alone. And they were like, why would you do that? And I'm like, you guys didn't play.
So-
You know she's not good at this.
So I have a thing about that too. So I was playing a bard in a party before, and it was one of those ones where the party always wants whoever's the highest in the stat to do the thing, and so like anytime we had to talk to anybody, it was constantly, hey, okay, Tony, now you go talk. Okay, can you go do this? And I'm like, hey guys, you can talk too, man. Like it doesn't matter.
That's when you hit them with the, I don't want to.
Yeah.
You
I feel like that happens a lot in a lot of different parties.
Yeah.
You'll always end up finding 2 or 3 people that'll get together in almost every
Yeah.
party and try to find out what everybody's character sheet looks like, and always pick
Yeah.
the one with the
Obviously,
highest.
there's some extent of you want to be able to do well. You want to be able to like accomplish the objectives that are set out in front of you by the DM.
That's true, but at what point do you have to stop
Yeah.
it and
I
use it
suppose
as
it's just not
metagaming?
to-
Because
to-
in
Yeah.
all reality,
Yeah.
it kind of is. You're
is
losing a
kind of
fair
metagaming.
amount of decent roleplay because
Well, and also it kind of depends on the situation. Like certain
shit,
things, like
man.
they're like, oh, the like so because I'll definitely say that I've done it a few times with our Saturday game where like I'm trying to find out like some history or some arcana stuff, so I go to the wizard because that makes the most sense.
Right. And-
Like I'm not just gonna run up to like like if somebody had an arcana thing and they're like, hey Artem, you wanna you wanna check this thing out? Like I don't know what that is.
Because, like, in RP moment, though, that makes sense. It's not like you're refusing to do any digging on your own and just expecting Isaac to go do it, or
Oh yes, I
or
am.
that sort of thing. At least, so the way
You
that
would.
yeah, it's because he keeps rolling 25s for
Yeah,
intelligence.
yeah, he's
It's
very smart.
fine.
You don't think
He
you don't
is
think
very-
Artem's noticed that he's very smart? I'm gonna
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. Man. I want to talk about Isaac at some point in this because Saturday's game was ridiculous. But the way that I try to like mitigate the metagaming-ness that like we were just talking about, one, I start making people roll for everything. It's like, okay, if you want to metagame, I'll metagame right back and like just start making you guys roll for absolutely everything. And then either that or I change DCs depending on who's rolling. Because, like, if someone who's going to consistently roll incredibly well is going to consistently roll, then it's like, hey, I'm bumping up that DC automatically just because you guys refuse to use anybody else.
I do tend to find with some characters, at least in my mind with Ruby, is he has high charisma, yes, but I don't think he's really shown that. He has done so in roles, but in terms of roleplay, in terms of his character, I don't think he's shown that stupid high charisma. And that's something I've kind of done on purpose, is I want him to grow into that, so I haven't given him those moments.
Mhm.
At least I haven't
No.
chosen to be like, I'm going to go deliver a speech to everyone. That's not something he's doing right now because he's not confident. He is not part of his character right now to be able to go do that.
Yeah. No, I'm real excited to see what the heck happens when you guys get to. You guys are almost there. When you guys get to Pirate Island, it's gonna be.
I really don't know what's gonna happen with Ruby. He's the character plays me at this point.
Epic.
Ah man, I still wish Ball wouldn't have saved Artem. It was gonna be so fun.
But he hugged you.
I
Yeah.
hate to tell you, friend, if Ball wasn't gonna do it, Ruby would have checked on you because he does care about Artem.
Listen,
He's so funny.
it was gonna be so fun. Nothing bad was gonna happen at all.
Totally not. It's totally not like Artem
No.
with Vampire.
We so weren't talking about repercussions of your actions, Tony. Speaking of wanting to change characters.
Oh man, I could have got a cool pirate character too. It would have been awesome.
Yeah,
Let
you
me
guys
in.
should pull-
Arg.
Yeah. That was actually gonna be my character's name was Arg.
Mine was matey.
Yeah. I'm Arg. This is my friend Matey.
Okay, sorry, can you guys hear me? My mic was fucking up for a sec.
Yeah, you're good.
Hey, my dog also just came in, so I had to mute.
Oh, hey dog.
He's currently down.
Hey dog.
Tell your dog I said.
He kind of just ear poked up a
Oh,
little bit. No, he's
Damn, it's so frozen. What is happening?
Oh,
no.
what way to freeze on too? It's like it's like a yearbook photo.
I know. At least she was like cheesing up a storm.
Yeah,
I
at
just thought
least
she
it-
was really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, guess what? I've never had a yearbook photo that good ever.
Okay.
That's not true. I love yours.
I don't know if you've seen my yearbook photos recently, Larry.
I feel like I had one
Oh.
or two. Oh, Tam's. Oh, everyone's. Hello.
Oh, we're all frozen.
Hello.
We're all frozen.
My friends. Where did they go?
Somebody cast time
Man, we're
stop.
just failing Consaves right, left and
Oh
right.
my gosh, there she
everywhere.
goes.
I gotta say, maybe it was a good thing that Brian wasn't able to make it tonight.
Yeah, because if this had been
Hey,
happening
man.
in stream,
The whole time would have been so bad.
I don't know how
I
to
would have been
fix
so
it.
stressed.
I really also need to explain that the temptation to just suddenly be like, whoa, just bring someone out just for kicks
Whoa.
is just
Whoa.
it's just so
It's
present,
really
ever
high.
present.
Oh, mine was to just freeze and just sit there still.
What you
Oh,
should
yeah.
do is someone starts talking, you just slowly make it bigger, just very slowly.
Let's see if we can catch who Larry's making, and slightly bigger. And
It's like red light, green light.
Anytime
Yeah.
anyone's talking, it's wow 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 wow.
And you take up
What?
full
There's a
screen,
zipper.
that's your cue to stop talking.
gosh, dang it, that's the worst. I hate it.
And you're frozen again. Looks like I broke ya. Hoopsies.
It did. Thanks.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Another yearbook photo though. It keeps being.
I
on
know,
there.
you're so photogenic, Tam. You
Real.
cutie.
I like the handle though. It's like
I know.
The head of the
For-
chin is
for
very
days there.
contemplative.
that's
Let's
so
see.
funny. So is there a class or subclass that people have wanted to play but haven't gotten a chance to play?
In terms of
Yes.
subclass, Undead Warlock. I've been trying for the better part of a year. I'm nearly there. The next campaign I'm in is going to be an Undead Warlock. I've been trying to play it for over a year. It's like the first Warlock I ever laid eyes on, and the campaigns just kept falling through. I'm
It's
sorry, I just
actually
didn't approve.
crazy, man.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You're so cute.
I hate it. Stop. I don't like it at all.
I think I really
There goes ink.
Are we just gonna drop cams for a second? Why
This is so good.
it's like not.
This is peak.
mine works. And Finch, you
know
can
what?
stay.
Oh, okay, hello.
It froze as soon as
Just
you
us
did that.
today.
Oh, that was just me standing still. I
You
did
sure?
your joke. Oh wait, Larry.
Because it
No.
looks like you're frozen now.
Oh really? I'm free on my end.
I'm not sure how my camera is the one that's not breaking, considering it's like the cheapest fucking one I could find.
It is frozen, ain't it?
Bro.
Oh,
Oh nope, I'm doing the worm on the stream.
Yep. You were in fact doing the worm on the stream.
I believe I am not frozen. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
I
I'm
would
all-
show the dog that he's like, very song talent.
I have an itch to play a Fearbulk.
Okay, so my wife's been doing that too. Every time we go play a new campaign, she's like, "I want to play a Furball," and then she ends up playing something completely different every time.
That's good.
Um,
I've been meaning to play a short race for so fucking long. It's just never happened.
never,
Dwarves.
never
kinda-
for me.
So what kind of class for the Furball? Anything that stands out?
I was making my way through my wiki dot to see.
I feel like most people go like Furball Druid because it just kind of fits the vibe of them.
That's true.
I would love to do a bard at some point.
That can be fun. It depends. It does depend.
There was, I can't remember which domain now that I'm looking at it, but I love a cleric. Druids scare me.
I got such a great cleric that I've wanted to play, and I've never had a chance to play it yet.
Oh, Tam, you're back.
Am
Like
I?
I actually was originally going to be the one that I played in our
Oh,
Dreckenheim
wait.
game with Tam.
This is so.
Just... I have to rub my eyes for a second. So
You're
the
fine.
cameras off. You're dropping like flies.
I would love to try the way of the astral self again
Yeah.
Monk
That's fun.
with
That's fun.
someone. I think I started one at one point, but then we didn't get very far. The same with, or maybe I went with the Psy Warrior instead.
Yeah, you went Psy Warrior instead of
That's right.
Astral Monk.
I do want to try Psy Warrior at some point.
But I think that's. A Hexblade Warlock sounds cool.
Yeah, that's always a
And
good one.
Hexblade is always great.
But yeah, those are like the classes, I guess, that I wouldn't necessarily link with a Fearbulk, but out of the like races, that's the one that's stuck out to me.
I think out of the races, the ones I have yet to try that I really kind of want to would be Halfling. But I have heard Halflings also just suck for DM, so I'm not sure what to do.
Nah, they're fine.
They just have luck. So like, as long as you're
I might need it. My rolls haven't been great lately.
Tam, did you ever say yours? Because I didn't hear it.
I'm looking because as a forever DM, it's really hard to say.
I was gonna say you played what, a cleric?
So far I've played a cleric and a rogue, and my very, very first game I played a druid, but my DM didn't entirely know how to teach me how to play a druid, so I appreciate her for what she was, but I would love to try druid again. If I were to play so like either I would want to do circle of either spores or stars druid,
Oh yeah.
or I would
Stars is so good.
I would love to be a divination wizard.
Divination's
love-
fun.
I love Circle with Stars. Estrella was something I'd wanted to play for so while. I'm so glad I got to play Estrella. So glad.
If you played Divination, I will say Chronergy though. Chronergy goes so hard. It's such a good like subclass.
Yeah, that like literally I was looking through the wizard schools and I'm just like, man, that one's good and that one's good and that one's like one of the character ideas that I have for a wizard is for a school of illusion, and totally like stole this from I think it may have actually been Ginny D, but like there was one time she was just like, how do you make your character more interesting? And like she put out a really cool video about it, but one like just a throwaway example that she did was like, how cool would it be if like you were a wizard but your spell book was like sheet music, and so you transcribed all of your spells into like a score and that sort of thing. And I'm just like, imagine like a wizard opera singer that like cast illusions like as she like sang and that sort of thing. If I was leading it something really RP heavy, I think that's where I would go. But for like general playing, divination or chronergy, both are awesome.
I know I've been really wanting to play a sorcerer lately, and I remember watching a video, and I forget whose video it was, but they had brought up a character idea where you play a sorcerer who plays as a wizard, has a spell book, and literally is just like trying to be a wizard, but like when you actually look at the spell book, it's just doodles, and and the spells just work because he's a sorcerer. And so it's just like the whole time he plays as this like wizard and stuff, but he's terrible at like arcana. And it's just like the magic just keeps happening for him.
That's so good.
I feel very lucky with the characters that I've played where I've just really liked it and I would do that again.
You've had a good pull of people.
Ugh, what I wouldn't do to be an Echo Knight again.
Oh, Echo Knight.
I love Echo
They're
Knight.
so fun.
I have a character I play which is multi-class between Hunter Ranger and Echo Knight Fighter. Some of the most fun I've had, even if this rolls are absolute shit and he only hits half the time. It's so fun just to have that flavor. It's so good, especially when it's like his Echo. I've made it be a manifestation of his past self, because that's the one part of himself he hadn't quite accepted yet. So now seeing it in front of him, he kind of forces himself to do that. It's like it's quite literally haunting him.
Mm.
That's kind of what we pulled for Larry's Echo Knight, because this was her Warforge,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, how do I put a Warforge in my campaign setting? Just because like the technology like wasn't there yet, but because Fey Gold exists, I'm like, how cool would it be if someone was using Fey Gold as like the wiring for a construct, and that sort of thing. And so Gemma's shadow looked like not like a huge Warforge. It looked a lot more like humanoid and elf-like and everything. And then come to find out that like we very much so Scarecrow / Tin Manned it, where it was just like her village was being taken over by spores, and as a act of protection, her parents had made a deal with a hag. I was like, hey,
right.
like please protect our kid. Like she can't have this, like the spores can't be the reason why she dies. And so that meant that Gemma's state was turned into
a
Warforge, because Warforge don't need to breathe, and everything like that. But that was really fun to like narrate, because Larry didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I didn't. It was an amnesia sort of storyline, but the more that Gemma started connecting, the more her Echo shifted into that sort of. Because I remember at first it was just like, haha, two big robots, go get ya. But then as we found out, it like started shaping differently, and it was pretty neat. Ah, I love Gemma. I love my character so much.
The tortoises that
Shout
you
out Gemma.
guys saw in the Auditors place may or may not have been inspired by Gemma's pet tortoise that she picked up at one point.
That's amazing.
Look, she's holding him. Come on, focus.
Because Warforged don't have to sleep as long.
Yeah.
And I couldn't give Larry just 2 free hours a day to do whatever she wanted to do, because I knew that was going to be a problem. And so she went and she found a tortoise. I was like, hey, you have to walk this tortoise every single day, and that's what you do for the 2 hours while everyone else is asleep.
What? So, Brad, what about you? Anything that you've been wanting to play?
Right now, just anything on my computer. Because everything's fucking freezing and going batshit crazy.
I'm
Oh, no.
sorry.
You know, I had to make a warlock for that.
Or an artificer.
Yeah.
You say
Just
artificer?
anytime you need to play,
Yeah, artificer.
actually, anytime you need to play something, I just think, you know, there's probably a warlock that could do that.
I see. I do the same thing with paladins. Hello.
Yeah, Larry, have you ever heard about artificer?
I'm gonna artifice this fist in your face.
So close, so close.
Artificers are great. I love them.
Yeah,
Armor
so
Artificer
it's like-
is very fun.
It's like an intelligence-based ranger instead of like wisdom.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an intelligence-based.
And unlike
That
Ranger,
too.
they actually have an identity and stuff they can do.
Our artificer was the one that drew that block for
Yeah.
Ah.
the party.
Was this
I think-
guy?
Artificers are very fun because you have different subclasses where you can, like, you know, make chemical bombs. You can make weapons. You can have a little friend with you. Or you can do what my favorite artificer is and just become a fucking juggernaut, pretty much.
Mine is Battlesmith. I love the Steel Defender. I love. I've played it a few times. One time where I played as like a halfling that rode it, and he was just like a little techno knight, just ran
Ooh,
around on it,
Oh,
little pony.
I actually played a barbarian once, and unfortunately the campaign ended before we got to this point, but I had to retire him due to story stuff. I was like, I feel like essentially his like whole village got burned down, and I was like, I don't feel like I'm in the mental space to play a character like that right now. So he was gonna come back later, and I was planning to actually have him go into artificer levels. So I was going to do a barbarian artificer with a steel defender. It's gonna be very fun. I do want to do that someday.
All character ideas just RA. It's not an if, it's a when.
Oh, 100%. These are getting done at some point.
Now that's gonna be the interesting part when the Daggerheart system comes out, and there's gonna be a whole new set of classes and everything to play.
I can't wait. You know, I realized just something. In one of these games I play with you guys, I got to play a non-furry race just so I can break the stereotype. Because so far it's not great.
That's me with tieflings. I got it.
You're just like out of nowhere. You're like, I'm a giant.
Well, that's why she played the Warforged, because I said, "Okay, Larry, you've had 3 characters or 2 characters so far, and they've been tieflings." Like, no.
No more tieflings. I went,
I've had-
give me a big robot then, or I die!
I've done 2 tieflings, if I remember
I have
correctly.
played 3 tieflings.
Let's see, I had Kalik, who is a bard, and I have one coming up, which is Lucius, who is the undead warlock.
Nice.
I like my shorties. I like my dwarf.
I like my...
I have a halfling that I've never played before. Have a I have to remember what race they're. Was it a?
Oh, shoot. Goes Tony.
Come on, brain, be so smart.
The closest I've got to playing a short race is I made an NPC today, actually, for this whole magical school thing I was going on about before the Tavern talk started.
Oh yeah.
Which is the headmaster of the half-caster school, which is like very, like, you know, no one really fucks with because they're half-casters. The whole magical supremacy thing. They are a old gnomish woman, which I actually kind of want to play a younger version of at some point. I feel like that could be very fun.
Yeah.
That's what Tam's
Her
gonna
name's
do.
her name's Madam Shy, and I find it's very ironic because she's not a shy woman at all.
Tam's just gonna play a divination wizard. It's just gonna be a young lady yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so for it.
The day
Aw.
that I play
She-
it,
She wouldn't look nearly so scruffy.
the day I play a short character is the day that I die.
See, the thing is, I'm already short IRL, so I'm just like, I don't need it in game as well.
Also, with the changes that they made, I'm pretty sure tieflings can be a small creature.
They can.
Yeah.
It's very fun. It's a little devil guy, little guy.
Yep. Technically, Artem's a tiefling.
No,
Technically,
Yeah.
I mean
On
technically,
paper.
Stat block wise.
yeah,
I'm a
technically Ruby. I made him a human in 2024 rules, but just added into Maxi stuff with transmission, of course.
So with the tiefling rules, there was one of the little sub races that got like necrotic resistance and chill touch and false life, which are all things that like vampires get access to. And I was like, perfect. That's exactly what I needed.
Yes.
Ooh, speaking of vampires, I'm finally stepping into that territory with my newest tiefling, Lucius. He's not technically a vampire, but he is technically a vampire's thrall, and the vampire is his patron.
Mm. Oh, that's a
Good
fun
idea.
idea for a warlock.
interesting.
Technically, he can't disobey an order. He
Yeah.
literally can't.
Oh,
I definitely wanted to play like a Fey based like warlock who like instead of like the whole like the typical warlock thing, my character tricked the Fey into like giving up his name or whatever, and then has a Fey contract with him because he's just like out of respect. I got you.
I
I've
could
got-
use someone of your skills.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I have a. Let's see. Yeah, it is a Fey warlock that I've just been sitting on forever, and he's a halfling who his like total like whole Stanley Yelnats thing, right? Like the promise that his like great grandfather or something was just like, hey, make my land prosperous and I'll give you my firstborn daughter, or I'll give you my firstborn son. But like everyone had daughters, and so this poor halfling was like the first son in a line, and so like he was out in the field one day like tending the field, and this archfey is just like, hi, you're supposed to do stuff for me. And
Sup, dog?
and
Nice to meet you. You're mine.
yeah. you're mine. But like I again just being forever DM, I haven't been able to touch him yet either, and I think that's hilarious of just like I didn't agree to this contract, but I have to honor it, and how do I get out of it?
I
Kill your
wonder-
patron.
Yeah.
I wonder what class and or race will be.
Dude, I forgot there's a character's name for a second, and that was a completely like instinctual reaction, just hearing the noise and wanting to join in.
Yep.
Moon Druid.
For sure.
God, I can't think now. What race is gonna be?
That's a bard.
100%.
College of Clown Bard.
College of Dance, but it's
Yeah.
like clownery.
Oh, there's got to be a way the Sun Soul or the way of the Drunken Master for one of those kobolds.
Ooh.
I thought that was like a tabaxi.
You would think, but it's actually a dragonborn.
Okay. I was wondering where you were going with this.
I also was wondering where I was.
I was
going
like, I
with
saw
it.
like
There
your
was
eyes in the
n-
thing was like trying to find it. Was it was like
I
Honestly,
had it,
honestly,
and it was
I'm still
going,
wondering where you're
going,
going with
going,
it.
gone.
they're a dwarf.
Ah, yeah. I meant to not go with another like animal one, but the other I was like, ah, beans.
That's my character. Aw, beans.
Tam, you need to play Gorp. In
Oh,
this-
I could Gormf. Like Gormf was an NPC in a previous game where he was a abandoned. I don't even know if the party ever got into his backstory.
Was he
But he was-
abandoned? Oh, he was abandoned because everyone else.
Yeah, he was an
gnomes or
abandoned-
whatever.
Earth Genasi kid that ended up in the Underdark with a whole bunch of like deep gnomes. Hey, camera. It finally worked. Not that I'm gonna push my luck at all, but he because he's a rock basically, and all that the gnomes had for him was like adult size clothes to like fit over this like boulder. He had like sleeves that would go too far, like you could never see his hands, like the sleeves would just drape over his hands, and he was always like wearing a scarf, but he would talk like this because like he's a rock.
He's a
He
rock.
has a hard time breathing.
It's not very easy for his lungs to expand.
Yeah, and so like
Okay.
and yeah. Okay. And then like would run everywhere, and like whenever
Even tried to
anyone yeah. And then if ever he just like annoyed the townsfolk, like they would just kick him around because he's a rock. Like
It's a rock.
yeah. Okay.
Mine was like definitely it just became a thing. Like in one of the games you could play, you can have this little like pets or whatever, and I found this one that was just the grossest looking one. It looked like a really bad mole rat worm looking creature thing, and I just started calling him Worm, and like everybody would be like Gwyrm. I'm like, no, it's not Gwyrm, it's Gwyrm.
Worm.
You gotta really get in there. And,
Yeah.
and it became a point where everybody just kept saying Gwyrm, and I was like, so yeah, that would be my character. It'd just be somebody named Gwyrm.
Yep.
I
We have
think
Gorm and Gormfin.
I think I'm gonna head off here because I need an early night. I still have prep to do for my session tomorrow.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
it was lovely talking.
Thanks, joining Finch.
Bye for
Bye,
now, everyone.
Adios.
Bye.
The one steady webcam is gone.
It's gone. I like reset some stuff on my end, so hopefully that works.
Whoa!
I just feel whoa.
You just fell.
I feel bad for whoa. Please don't, Larry.
Oh,
I
God.
just fixed it.
You're gonna break it.
It was a test of strength, test of constitution,
Yeah.
con save.
Gave Tam shaken baby syndrome.
Ugh, man. Ugh.
Oh
Let's
no!
just
Oh
process
no!
that.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're good.
you
We're,
broke
no, we're
it.
fine. No, I didn't.
Nope, I blinked.
Oh,
David,
oh,
you
Larry,
blinked. Oh, you're back. You're back. Oh.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm just
man.
gonna like.
It's been
Stay so
working. It's been
still.
working. It's
You gotta
fine.
you gotta do the.
Stop talking to it. Stop pointing it out. It gets shy, and that's why.
Oh man.
Oh, so good. I just like. I don't know. I guess the other player that I think I would love to play is you guys. You guys didn't get to meet her when you guys were in
Ooh.
Arkham, Tony, but there's I have a Skull Battalion prison warden named Ula, and she's got well. Her name is not Oolong. That's just the name that you guys gave her character name.
Oolong.
But she has dual hammers on either side that she wields, and so at some point I want to play her. She's a dwarf too. We'll
course.
figure it out. I like my short, stocky people. they're good at what they do.
I don't know. Really, the couple of character ideas that you had pitched for the Daggerheart one was like very interesting.
It's because I want to try something different. Like, the idea of being a ranger sounds awesome.
Spoilers.
Well, like,
Just best.
or
or one of the other classes that
one of the other, like,
I know of.
yeah, I've been looking. I also was looking at fighter. I also was looking at what was the? I was looking at druid too. just because like I don't know, with the way that Daggerheart is set up, it just seems a little bit more streamlined for some of those classes.
Yeah.
Like druids can be so scary to play in D&D just because they are like the ultimate spellcaster.
Yeah, it also
And
we mentioned this a few times, sorry, but we just mentioned this a
You're
few
good.
times in the other, like, everybody was talking about people having like first time players playing druids. That is like one of the worst classes for like a
it's
new
the
player.
jerkiest
Mhm.
thing that you could do as a DM.
Because like a great druid is amazing and can do some of the
Mhm.
like greatest things that'll happen in a campaign. But also, if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna have a druid that is not very useful and will probably feel bad. Because I know I had a druid in one of my games that was like definitely the weaker link because he just couldn't wrap his head around a druid, and it wasn't his first game. He had played a wizard before, but I just don't think the druid really fit the way he played.
Yeah. And just and like that's the thing is I would give someone a cleric before I would give them a druid. And the cleric spell list is gigantic still. But like at least it's contained in a way that's like, hey, here's some like really good consistent things. Like because you throw beast shape in amongst being a druid, like that's just a whole nother thing to have to babysit.
Yeah, and also with cleric, like I've had a few players. Like one of the guys in my last game, it was one of his first characters was like a cleric, and I just told him straight up, I was like, "Here's some great spells. Just so you know, this is not an MMO, and you don't have to just sit there and heal.
Right.
That is not your job to just sit around, wait for people to take damage and heal them." I was like,
Right.
cantrips, spellcastings, once you hit level 5, you're probably one of the strongest characters in the game. Once you're like spirit guardian, spiritual weapon, throwing cantrips out, like you are just a
Mhm.
death machine.
Yeah. You can buff and nerf like crazy, so do that so that way you're not having to heal every round.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Larry knows all about them clerics.
I love clerics.
Yep.
I would love to play a cleric again, but I also know that Tam loves clerics, so I feel like
Hey,
if we ever
double
play,
clerics goes hard.
it does
Yeah.
go hard, but there's so many things. There's so many.
Exactly. So I remember there was this was Pathfinder, but there was a husband and wife duo that played clerics, and they were playing light and dark. And
That's
so like so in the other one, like kind of like in this one, where like if you're good it does radiant damage, if you're evil it does necrotic damage. So they kind of had that kind of situation going on where there was like they would go in there and be doing light and dark damage, and they even got custom like made dice for each other for their anniversary, and one was like a like white metal dice and he had a black metal dice, and it was really cool looking, and I always
so
remember that.
cool. No, I'm excited about like doing Daggerheart with Larry because like I've never played on that side of the table with her. I've only DM'd on for her and that sort of thing. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, I love kind of like what we were talking about even at the beginning of this whole thing today. Like clerics are just so usable that like even if you can't cast spells, like at least you can go hit something and
Yeah.
not die immediately.
One of the clerics in my other game, he just got his access to what is it, like wristbands of like ogre power, bracers of ogre power, whatever,
Yeah.
gauntlets of ogre power, that makes your strength a 19. And so he is like just a gnome cleric that just runs in with a 19 strength and hits people with a hammer.
Yes.
So really fun. So you can get around things like that, but yeah, also in the new species for Daggerheart, you could play your character because there is a monkey race.
Oh. Ooh. For
The hard
for
part
me?
is doing that the exact same way for their name every time.
Every single time.
You got to count how many oohs there are.
Oh, I would have it down pat, don't you fret. If anyone else did it wrong, though.
You get whoa, that's offensive.
Hey. Come on. We're classy here. The name is not Like, come on.
Would you call my mother?
Why would you say that to me?
Also, the whole time people have been doing that, your character's name's like Pete.
Yeah.
You've just been messing with people.
There is like a common translation, but he really respects the
the
true
tradition.
nature of his
Oh, man.
name.
I had a gnome rogue, or no, it was a halfling rogue that I was planning on playing for this game that ended up falling away because I wanted to make fun of, because I had this edgelord rogue in this other game, and it was kind of making fun of that, where it's like the whole backstory is the most edgelord character possible. Like, he was just like, my parents were killed, then I was adopted, and those parents were killed. And he gave, I forgot what his name was, but his
Was it
his name
Batman?
but his name was like his name was like Black Steel, but his real name was like Robert or something like that. Like he was just like literally just all the tropes of an edgelord was like the character. And if we ever went to his hometown, everybody's like, "Oh, hey Robert, hey, your parents, they've been wanting to meet you. They're like blacksmiths or something like
Yeah.
that. They just run like tailors. They just have like a normal job." He's like,
A
"Shut
little-
up, Mom."
A little bakery. It's like the when you asked roller derby people, like, what? I'm Skating Steel. It's your real name, Mackenzie.
What's your real name? Rachel?
Rachel, Samantha,
Oh man.
Jezebel.
Jezebel. That's a name.
Ugh, man, I've been like, I'm really excited to like play Daggerheart because right now it feels very like this is a lot, but I just because I don't know how everything works.
You haven't been introduced to a new game system in a while.
I know.
Oh,
I was
and this one's different for sure.
yeah. I'm just glad that like everything is on. Like the fact that everything's on a card, I think is a really smart move because then it's something that I feel like this is a system that you could go, hey, I have 3 hours, let's knock out a game, instead of like D&D where it's like come with pre-generated characters and like do a little bit of homework before you actually play together.
Me and my home game table, we had talked about when it comes out, getting the set and getting the cards and doing like a little one shot or mini series, and we're just gonna throw the cards out and you just pick a random class and like race, and then you just play that character. Which
you so could do with Daggerheart. Like it would be really easy to do.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely a fun idea for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely am gonna have to go through and get more, like, once the books come out, and like break it down so I can make sure as a DM I can give decent rulings to things. But hey,
Break it down, Tony.
I was gonna say
Wiki.
at this point though, I was like, we'll just go in with the mindset of, hey, this might not be perfect. just roll with it. Just roll.
Literally.
Please, I've been waiting for your turn this whole time. Just roll.
Oh.
Well, so that's the crazy thing about Daggerheart, Larry, is there's no initiative order. So like if you want to do something, you can. You just spend an action to do so.
Epic.
And however many people use an action, your DM can then spend those action coins to do something back at you guys. And so like it really kind of leans into the fact of like, hey, if someone can't do something that round or they're not effective, like they don't have to do something. Like they can let other people go first, or
Collect
if you have like a
themselves.
couple things in a row, you could do it that way too.
You can do tag team maneuvers.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot easier to do in something like Daggerheart.
Also, it's not a D20 system, which will be very interesting.
Yeah. So is
Are
it
you doing? Are
when
you doing fusion? Is Larry over there doing fusion?
Yes, sir.
I just was like, looked over. I was like, what is she doing? And then I was just like, oh, okay, I got it. Once the hands went completely over, I'm like,
Yep.
okay.
Tag team.
Sorry, I was reading.
Howdy.
There you go, Larry. I was super late on that. Nope, I didn't even go the right way.
Did the dogs? A
Wow,
haunting.
do I really have to
Oh.
go right in order to get Larry's?
Oh wait. I don't need to.
Yeah,
wait a
there
minute.
you go.
Oh wait, hold up. One more time. Ready?
Wait, oh, there you go.
There you go.
Shit.
We did it.
Bar!
Oh my god.
Yeah. All right. Phew.
Oh wait, I'm coming. I'm like,
No,
so
you're good.
badly. There
We
go.
got there. I know.
Wait, I was hoping it would freeze right there. That would be the best freeze.
You get yearbooks and fusion, and that's all you get from Tim today.
Oh man, could you imagine your yearbook picture? You organize it with the other person to do a fusion.
That'd be hilarious. That'd be so good.
Oh man. Okay.
Well, sweet.
I think I'm all
Were
out of
you being
talking points.
I was gonna say, were you being summoned?
No. I was asked if I ate any bacon after dinner. Which, shockingly, no.
As Larry reaches in the pocket and pulls out bacon.
Yeah.
No more
Pocket
pocket
bacon
foods. How are they still here? We are out of it.
Got pockets full of gravy. Ugh.
Hey, you're the one who brought it up, man.
Yeah, as a terrible joke, and I regretted it.
I just thought it was hilarious, like that Bob kept going with it. It was just
Oh,
like,
yeah. Well,
it was like-
because it's Brian, and he noticed that it was making me cringe every time he said it, so he just had to keep doing it. And I respect him for it, but it still was so awful.
right, but still.
Once he realized that it was getting me, he was like, "I'm gonna do this a bunch."
Yep. No, gotta just push those. He seems like a button pusher of a player, so that totally tracks.
I mean, we literally are playing brothers in another campaign, so
Yeah,
we literally just sit there and do that all the time, just pushing buttons.
that's sorry.
It's a
This is a little
weird way
bit
to
of a
play
side
D&D.
tangent. That is one thing that I really like how Daggerheart is structured. Is like the fact that with like those background questions, you can automatically be like, "You're my buddy," and you're not, or that sort of thing. Like you automatically can build that RP in straight away.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a lot to play around with, and I can't wait to see the full final version of it because I know they've tweaked it a bit, so
Yeah.
ready for that.
I didn't know D&D was on console. There we go. Found the joke. Ta-da-cha. Button pushers. Cool.
But it is. It's called Baldur's Gate.
No, I know, Tony. I know, Tony.
I don't know if you know this, but it's a pretty popular game.
Ugh.
she just walks out and leaves. She's just like, I'm out.
I cannot believe this guy.
I can't even.
I always have to wait so long for it to catch up to you guys.
Yep. Yep.
It's so fun.
The delay on it makes
It's
it
the-
even funnier.
The lag is pretty bad. Ugh. Well, I mean, it would be one thing if we could see you, but like
You have
we
you
can't.
have to watch
so
it
we
through
have
the
to watch
stream.
on the stream to know what you're doing.
Yep. Very true.
Anyways,
So good. I love it. But yeah,
here's
well-
my book of Belisara. I've got these ones. These ones. Maybe I'll do a
This was-
D&D
this was the book that-
character.
this was the book that Larry was trying to show us earlier when I was playing music that was very Belisara coded.
Any Belisara-ers out there?
I was like, never even heard of that. It's like trading cards for horses.
Yeah, there's an
Yeah.
online code on them that you can enter into the website, and then you can go take care of the horses.
Uh-huh.
Don't put the code too close. People are gonna steal all your
They
horses.
can. I already entered all of them. I got a
Very-
mega
very-
stable.
Like late 2000s
Oh, so good.
game.
I think I still have my password somewhere. I know that I can access it on some computer somewhere. It's saved. Shining Rose, something.
Wow, that just opened
A door.
a memory bank for me. Thanks.
Yep. Got you.
Ridiculous. That's hilarious. It's funny. Like I was thinking, especially after Saturday's game, where it was just like so RP heavy. Like I am glad that the Monday group was also kind of like that. Like I get to just kind of sit back and talk, or like don't have to talk. Because especially with playing with so many newbies, like you kind of have to do that. So I hope that like as we dive in with Daggerheart, that like Larry gets to have a big RP day too. Because I don't know if you've really ever had a big RP session yet.
Oh man,
I
that
have, like,
Saturday session,
moments.
I was drained. Even though I barely had anything, but emotionally, I was drained.
Just listening to everything going down, I was like at the edge of my seat. I was like, I have no, like, stuff is going down everywhere. Oh, so good. So good, though. Sweet. Well, thanks, guys. It's always fun talking D&D
Did
with
they
all
get
you.
rid of Belisara?
Jeez.
Oh yeah, sorry, I deleted the server after you told me about it.
No! Echo! Neptune! Oh my guys! Horse haunts.
You just go back and it's a bunch of skeletons because you haven't fed them in forever.
No, their stalls actually get
Okay.
so nasty.
That was a mechanic of Neopets that just absolutely decimated me as a kid. I was just like, I cannot have these things be sad. The fact that I didn't log in.
Yeah.
I haven't logged in for years, and I don't dare ever do it again.
It's why I can't return to Animal Crossing ever, because everyone goes, oh my gosh, you were gone for this allotted amount of time. We've missed you. And I go, hey, shut up. I'm trying. I'm like, do you want me here or not?
Oh,
Oh,
how fun would that be to like save a town in D&D and then like go back to it at some point and be like, you guys were gone for so long.
the bad returned. You were
Yeah.
actually
Oh.
supposed to keep it at bay, not just get rid.
That kind of reminds me of it's like when you play a session, you do something really big, and then some life happens, and y'all don't play for like a month, and you come back and you're like, what were we doing?
That's me with this bi-weekly game. I try though. Although Tam
is-
can attest, this last 2 weeks has been something and a half.
At least everyone joined in on this something and a half last game. I was like, I was explaining it to somebody. I was just like, we spent like 15 whole minutes talking about collab names,
That's
and
true.
it didn't feel out of place for the auditor game.
That's
yes,
what it's there for.
started a full-time job. By the way, Tony, just keep you in the. I started a full-time job Monday and then quit Tuesday.
That's what I'm talking about.
It was the whole thing. I can delve into it later, but
You were like, full time, no thank you.
well, I was like, no.
I really misunderstood this. When you said full time, I was like, FOOL, my bad. I gotta go.
I thought it was time for wits and wagers, not whatever the frick this is.
Oh,
Alright.
man.
yeah, like 2 weeks between each game is just enough time for things to get fuzzy. I'm just so grateful that we have these like recorded on YouTube
Yeah.
to be able to be like,
Yep.
what happened?
For sure.
Yep, we need to revisit at some point.
Because my home game only survives because Tiff takes the craziest notes.
I'm so jealous of her note taking. At
Me
some point,
too.
I need to play with her again at some point.
Yeah, she literally has the best notes, and I can just go back and be like, what was that character's name again? What did I just bullshit?
Larry used to be my designated note taker, and there'd be times I'd be like, there was an NPC I said at one point.
Yeah, I've gotten bad about with the online games taking notes.
Yeah, it's so much harder to take notes on an online game, I feel.
Oh, I just don't, because I can just go back and rewatch them.
Right. And which is the benefit of a streamed game. There's so many details that I'm like, I'm so glad that I have that access.
For a DM, it's amazing.
It's really, really nice.
I'm very excited about that, especially starting this new world and building it with everybody, and
Yeah.
like being able to go back and be like, okay, now what did we call this town, or what did we do with this?
Yeah. There was a shopkeep. What was their name? And
Oh
like,
yeah,
and be actually able to go back. Well, and especially now that like you'll have access to the YouTube stuff, so like you're gonna have notes straight from the get-go. There's some stuff from the beginning of this campaign that's pretty darn fuzzy for me.
yes.
And then it
Stuff
like
went
snaps
crazy.
into focus about like episode like 11.
Yeah, stuff went a little crazy at the beginning, but we survived.
Yeah, we got there. 24. We've had 24 sessions of that game. I feel pretty happy about that.
Yes, I think we've only missed like 2 weeks or maybe.
Yeah, and both
Hello.
have basically been my fault. So
I mean, I wouldn't say your fault, but I mean,
yeah.
Hey, you.
Hello, Duke.
Come here. Come here. What's up? Hold away. Come on. Hold
This is Larry's dog that walks like a spider on a hot tin roof.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So close. Come on. You're so close. Come here.
it's not gonna happen.
No.
There we go. I was just
Dog's
patting
just
the
like-
wrong spot.
Dog's just like, no, thank you.
There, yeah.
Oh, there it is. You got to remember the delay. We're sitting there just watching, waiting.
Yeah. But yeah, when he runs, it looks like
He doesn't
it
know.
looks like a spider that's getting electrocuted. Like there's no other way to like describe it.
It's like the dogs that don't have control over their legs when they run, but he does, but it's just wrong.
I had a neighbor whose dog was a Rottweiler that ran like a deer, like galloped.
Just bounding.
That's what
Yes.
my brother's dog does. She's a little mini schnauzer.
But
There's a
he
word
he
for
was
it.
a giant Rottweiler, which made it look so funny.
I
To
love
just
that.
be a big dude just galloping around.
Toot, toot, toot.
Uh, it's called the stot. Is the gait that deer do.
Yeah, I don't know how he learned it, but it was the funniest thing.
Are you calling me to
Do you
bed?
just live with a bunch of bunnies?
I mean, we did live out, like, this was growing up, we did live out in, like, the sticks, so there is a good chance that it did see a bunch of deer running. It was like, that's how you do it.
The
That's
boonies.
effective, that is.
All
I
right.
can never catch one of those things. Maybe I'll try it.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, bye,
amazing.
everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
What if we just end it like that? Just,
Yeah,
bye.
thanks. So abruptively, whatever. But anywho, thanks everyone for joining and listening in on just some good old banter and some good old talking. We'll be back this next Saturday with the Cardinal game, and then we will figure out scheduling for this game. If not on the 5th, we'll be for sure back on the 12th for the next Auditors game. But thank you guys for joining, and hope you have a wonderful night.
You do.